Greetings and welcome to a special Warhammer 40,000 kill team video. Today, I'm doing a video on the new balance Dataslate for Q3 2022. I was going to do something else, just woke up, just had some lunch, and I was like, oh my gosh. So we're going to go through all of that live. I haven't seen it yet, so we're going to go through it together. So please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of the balance Dataslate as a whole. Did I miss anything? How did you feel? Let me know. And if you want, I've got a Discord you can check out in the episode description below, as well as a Patreon. So let's check it out. 100% live. So this is the balance Dataslate Q3 2022. There's the Dataslate. So let's look at the Dataslate. So new updates will be pointed out by an asterisk. So we've had a lot of changes before. So let's see. Nothing changed so far. Phobos strike team. Oh, hold on. There have been lots of changes. Sorry. So no changes for equipment. No changes for Hunter Glade. No changes for Pathfinders, notably. No changes for Void Dancers. No changes for Compendium teams. Novitiates. Auto Chastisers are 2 equipment points. They are normally 1. What do? They give you Ceaseless, effectively. Where is this a problem? On their Flamers and Plasma Pistol Leader. Obviously, if you reroll into a 1, you still take 1 mortal wound, but effectively it gives you 3 rerolls for, too much. And then you cannot use Acts of Faith to change dice you've re-rolled. So now you can no longer, theoretically cheapen out by going I've rolled a hit and 2 misses. I'll spend 2 Acts of Faith to change, to re-roll those, and they could be hits. Oh, I've got 1 hit, I'll change that other miss into a hit. So this is actually a huge change. And not only does it not just apply to the Acts of Faith for rerolling, it affects all rerolls. So this is actually a huge change. Now we have Phobos Strike Team. Deadly Shots, they have this new strategic deploy. Until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly Phobos Strike Team operative makes a shooting attack, if it doesn't perform a charge, fall back, or normal move during this turning point, bolt weapons gain the Piercing 1 critical hit roll for that shooting attack. This has no effect on weapons that already have armor piercing or piercing critical. Not gonna lie, I was hoping for something better, because basically this only affects your infiltrators who have lethal 5 up on their guns. And, the problem with the Phobos isn't really their damage output is a problem, right? But what I was hoping they would get is at least... So Terror Tactics, the Reavers, their ability is just free to do. And maybe something like during each of their operatives' activation, they do 1 mission action or the first mission action for 1 AP less to a minimum of 0. That would have been really cool and really thematic. Deadly Shots doesn't feel like it's really going to have any effect, to be honest. You get slightly better at killing guardsman equivalent models, so stuff with a 5-up armor save and 7 to 8 wounds. But generally, that was never really your kill team's problem. Against Marines and other elite teams that have high damage output and invons or wounds, this isn't really going to help. So it's kind of a shame there. So let's look on to Warpcoven. So for the Rubric Command ability, change the distance from blue to red. So basically when a Rubric Marine activates within red of a Sorcerer, they get +1 APL. So that's actually a nice bonus. Now we've got Rubric Affinity Battle Honor. For the purpose of the Rubric Command ability, remove the distance requirement for Rubric Marines. That's actually a big change because at the moment they can only move red. So I actually really like this because that was one of the main things holding back Rubric Marines. And then add the following to the Exalted Astarte strategic deploy. In addition, until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly Rubric Marine is activated, if it doesn't perform a fight action, it can perform 2 shoot actions. If it is a gunner operative, 1 additional action point must be subtracted to perform the 2nd shoot action. So basically, if they activate while within red of a Sorcerer, they go to 3 APL, and if you've got a heavy gunner, they can shoot once for 1 APE, and then they can shoot again for 2 APL, whereas your normal Rubric Marines can now basically fire twice. But that's actually really solid. I was hoping that maybe Rubric Marines get +1 attack, but I guess they don't want to alter the data slate of the Rubric Marines. But that's all really solid because it's with the Warpcoven, the Sorcerers and Zangors are fine. They're actually really solid. The main problem is you never wanted to take Rubric Marines. This actually makes Rubric Marines really solid. And yeah, you may see a Warpcoven now going just like taking more Rubric Marines in general. So I really like this change. This is actually really good compared to what happened with the Phobos strike team. And then for replaced army lists, nothing else has changed. So that's it. It's strange. I was hearing threats about Pathfinder changes, but nothing's happened. So yeah, and nothing else has changed. So overall, I really like the Novitiate change. Phobos change is a bit depressing. Warpcoven's really good. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Now, the interesting thing about this is that they're posting the stats again. So as you know, me and Hotsaw study for the stats. We're now letting every event to try and see if we're actually going to get closer to GW's results. So let's have a look. So, okay. So they've combined the July and August win rates. So I can't tell. That kind of defeats, or not defeats, it kind of like shoots down what me and Hot Sauce Teddy were trying to do. So I guess we might have been too close to showing the actual stats, but I guess combining July and August, you do get a similar thing. Like Novitiates, they did have 2 months in a row in July and August where they were above 55%, like even 60% at one point for August. So that makes sense. Blooded, it's weird. Like once again, they're reiterating 45 to 55% as their aim. And generally, and there's been a good mix of factions at events with 20 more players. So it now looks like they've revealed what else they look at as events with 20 or more players that are winning. So we'll probably add that into our stats. It's a bit frustrating for me that they've combined the results, but it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. We'll catch them out next time. But that actually mirrors what we've been seeing in the stats. And honestly, it's been very, very fair. The only problem with the Blooded up there is because they're not posting the number of games. So Blooded, I'm not saying Blooded are bad. They are really solid, but they have like Blooded and Wormblade, they have very, like, not very low. So they have about 40 games each. So overall that'd be 80. Whereas Novitiates and like Pathfinders, for example, like 250 games, which is very different for those results. So I kind of wish they would show the amount of games played, because it would change. Well, it would make how these numbers mean a lot more. But we were seeing Novitiates were a problem, so they have been addressed. And as you can see, Warpcoven, I guess because they've, on average from that mean, Warpcoven are fine, but month by month, we haven't seen them do too great. And then, yeah, Phobos Strike Team, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, Phobos Strike Team. It's weird they got the smallest buff, like, compared to Warpcoven, whereas, like, they've been doing a lot worse. And yeah, once again, they've combined all the compendium teams. But it's really good they're showing it. I'm a little frustrated myself, but it's fine. And then, yeah, just explaining what they've done with Novitiates. And then Phobos Strike Team. Yeah, they did admit they did actually start well in June. And it's interesting. They do mention that as their popularity increased, their win rate has fallen. But it's fallen larger than any other team we've seen in the stats. And as I said last month, they're the only team that we've seen when they lose players for their win rate to go down. So, yeah. And like they mentioned the new other Marine teams. So that's really good there. I like what they're talking about. It shows that they're very aware of the meta and that they're keeping track, which is great to hear. Like we don't even see this kind of openness, I think, anymore with their other game system. So this is really cool. I really like this. And like they're talking about Blooded. There we go. Yeah, see, look, while the Blooded had the second highest win rate, the data is unreliable as their pick rate is the lowest of all kind of teams. You know what? I take it all back. Games Workshop. Oh, great. This is great. I like this. It is so good. Like, yeah. Overall, I am really impressed with how this article was presented. It's a great improvement over the last one. Really, really solid. Like, I love how they've, like, them just mentioning that is a huge boon. I really like that they mentioned that. And yeah, the changes are actually really good. Like, I think Novitiates have kind of dodged the bullet for a while. So I'm kind of happy. Like, they haven't been destroyed. What I expected was Novitiates to lose. like some acts of faith generation, but maybe this will be enough. Like, maybe they may need more acts of faith reduction, but the thing is, if we were only doing a balanced data slate every 6 months, I could kind of see the justification for more drastic changes. But as we're only doing them every 3 months, I don't mind smaller changes every 3 months, because then you can go, oh, maybe we only needed this small change. And then, oh, if that didn't work in 3 months, we can do something else, because 3 months isn't too long. Like, I really like what they've done to the Warpcoven. I'm glad that GW saw the Warpcoven, like the rubric, the sorcerers and the Zangors were completely fine, really solid. They just needed to make rubrics better. Like, you now may be tempted to even take full rubrics for like double gunner, so that's actually pretty solid. Not a fan of the Phobos changes. Like, I feel they went the wrong way in buffing the Phobos. So, but I mean, we'll see, right? I've already seen the September stats, and it's not good for Phobos. I'm so sorry, Phobos players. But overall, this is really good. Like, my only downside, apart from the Phobos, is that they combine the win rates. So it's like just frustrating on my end. Like, it's not a huge negative. It's just, damn it. So I'll message Teddy, and then probably we'll try and see what happens, and if we can do the same for not quarter 3, but quarter 4. I'll even ask him if we can combine the July and August results to see if we get something like that. Because if we get if we get an identical result, then we know we've been doing it right. But once again, yeah, really well laid out, and the cons only minor. Really like that GW are telling us that sometimes the win rates aren't accurate, and they're actually showing us that they're really paying attention to teams that are consistently winning events with 20 or more players. Because we've been ranking if you win any events, so we'll probably still do that, and then we'll probably add an additional column saying if 20 or more player events, because I think that's just a useful thing for everyone to see. But that's pretty much it. So it's kind of a short video, hopefully. I was going to do my podcast today, but I'll do it for another day. But yeah, please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of this video. Are you happy with the balanced data slate changes? Did they do too much? Did they not do enough? What would you like to see? Well, just let me know. Be really interested to hear. And yeah, if you want, I've got a Discord you can check out in the episode description below for free, as well as a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. But I'll quickly thank my patrons. So for my Adepts of the Crit, I have Samaru, Sam, Tarun, Kenzie, John Thomas, Dave, Daniel, Average Joe 27, and Adzik. And then for my Veterans of the Crit, I have Sam, Joe, and Confucius. So thank you so much. Your support really helps and means a lot to me. Helps me do so much. But yeah, that's it for the Balanced Data Slate. I have a battle report coming out tomorrow, which is Blooded versus Vet Guard. And I'll also be at the London Grand Tournament on Saturday and Sunday if you are around. So give me a shout there. But yeah, this is me, John, signing out. Not shining. So, no matter what the Balanced Data Slate says, remember, you can always win as long as you can roll a crit.